what buyers want is a business that can transfer, revenue that can transfer, system that can transfer. If everything is dependent on the founder, you cannot buy the founder with it.
Yeah.
That's just not possible.
Welcome to Manage Chaos Podcast, where we give you the startup business rundown in less time than it takes for you to get to work.
I'm Katrina Purcell, and today I am joined by Muriel Touati. She is the founder and CEO of Exit3D Studio and the author of The Valuation Gap, What Buyers See That Sellers Miss, launching this summer, July 27th, which is very exciting. A French entrepreneur based in New York City, she helps B2B service business founders build revenue that is predictable, scalable, and transferable, so the business grows stronger whether they're scaling, stepping back, or preparing to sell. Muriel, this sounds all very exciting, and congratulations on the new book coming out.
Thank you. I'm very excited about the book launching on July 27. It's been from my experience last year evaluating over 100 deals and getting so close of buying one. I'm very excited about this work. Yes.
That's amazing. So you evaluate deals from the buyer side. You've looked at hundreds of data rooms. Most founders think that their blood, sweat, and tears naturally translate into a high valuation, but buyers tend to only reward proof. So what is the biggest shock or sort of chaos moment that founders experience when they get that first heavily discounted offer? And what is the core valuation gap that they miss?
Yes, I think the core shock for them is that valuation gap. Basically, it's the fact that usually they are contacted, let's say, by a business broker who tell them, okay, I can list your business for that much, or maybe they agree, they have a conversation, they agree, they see. They're not fixing anything before. They are just listing the business as it is. And when you had the business for 10, 20 years or even less, but you want to get the most that you can for your business, especially if the revenues are good, and especially if you have a business brokers that tells you to add a lot of expenses as add backs. So you have this impression of having such a big EBITDA and that you can get that high multiple and so much money. So the business go to market and they start receiving offers from prospective buyer like me and many others. We look at everything. We deconstruct everything that they have prepared with the business broker. We double check everything. The add back, we review, we removed. And if we do decide to make an offer, we have to normalize like the SDE, for example, the seller discretionary earning. Like maybe they will tell you, oh, mine was 500K. Oh, well, when I calculate, it's just 250,000, so you have to do that normalization. And this is where we have a valuation gap. Maybe they wanted 2 million for their business, but once you normalize everything, and plus you find out about logo churn, like the number of customers that are leaving every month, if it's a real recurring revenue or just project based, all of that, the buyer might not choose the same multiple either. So this is like a double discount. The EBITDA is smaller, the multiple is smaller, and instead of 2 millions, you might just get an offer for 750, So that's the gap. But which is good is that those are structural issues. When you correct those structural issues long enough before, you should not have as much problem getting good offers that match your expectation.
How do founders normally react to that first offer when it's so wildly different than what they expect?
I think we should ask this to brokers, because actually I think they're doing a filter. I think the brokers do a filter. They don't even present those.
Got it.
I believe, or when they do, because sometimes I was coming, making offers and explaining, they were, yeah, like presenting and doing the intermediary, and I was not necessarily seeing the reaction, but I know that sometimes that was not what they wanted, so they were waiting for other offers.
Okay.
But what happened is that sometimes they just come back to you later because they didn't get a better offer.
They still didn't get what they wanted.
Yes, sometimes they reach out back to you to know if you might still be interested.
Okay, and part of that and your thesis is that there's these 4 structural gaps for founders to fix. So customer concentration, founder dependency, which is something we talk about a lot, unpredictable revenue, and weak digital assets, which is also something we've covered in previous episodes. So let's dig down into how to tactically help founders sort of decouple themselves from the business so the buyer sees a scalable engine rather than just a glorified freelance gig that they've turned into a business.
True, yes. What buyers want is a business that can transfer, revenue that can transfer, system that can transfer. If everything is dependent on the founder, you cannot buy the founder with it.
Yeah.
That's just not possible. If we want to correct those 4 structural issues, so we have to solve the founder dependency, maybe by more delegation, more documentation such as SOPs, or more systems. Now with a lot of automation system, we can just have repetitive tasks be done by a tool. This is something to solve founder dependency. For customer concentration, pretty easy. Just diversify your customer portfolio. And the revenue predictability is more the quality of the revenue. Like, is it repeatable? Do we know next month, next year, how much is coming into the business? Or do we start from zero every month because it's project based? So that revenue quality is important for a buyer, and also for yourself, like for being, business owner, you also want that. Thinking about those 4 structural gaps helps any business founder run a business that is less dependent on them, that run without them, and that is just nicer to have, because we all know as business owner how it can take all of our time, how we're the business sometimes. I know.
Yes.
And for the digital asset, more especially, let's say, like acquisition engine that is not dependent on the founder again, and either a single source of referral or word of mouth referral, because this again is attached to the founder. They might recommend the great work that the founder is doing and not think about the business itself. And the day a buyer buy the business, those word of mouth will not transfer.
Yes, once the founder's no longer running the business, you may lose that credibility.
They were attached to the founder and not necessarily to the business, but it's possible to build acquisition engine, ensuring all the good review on Google My Business or any social media you might use. I know there are things that can be tricky. I'm thinking because I've been using LinkedIn a lot. I have even a program for that, a LinkedIn program for French entrepreneurs. For example, the business that I wanted to buy, all the leads were coming mainly from the LinkedIn profile of the founder. This cannot transfer again, so that's such a problem. But it was a LinkedIn lead generation agency, so they had more to that. They had maybe 20 different freelancers who were also using that profile to generate leads. Great, but legally I cannot buy any of these freelancers' profile either. So yeah, so
Yes.
sometimes it can be a bit tricky, but we can work on this and ensuring everything can transfer.
When you reached out to come on the show, you referenced an episode that we did with Taylor around how staying silent and not sharing your work is a selfish move. And you tied that directly to how buyers view weak digital assets during due diligence. So explain why a buyer, what they're looking for when they evaluate a company's digital footprint. And what's one actionable thing a founder could do this week to start proving that their growth engine actually works?
So buyers, when they look at digital assets, they want to evaluate if the website, for example, can bring leads, or does it signal the business run only on referral and word of mouth? And we can see it right there. If there's no way to book an appointment, if like digital experts, they can just go in some website, see the traffic. If they see it's only branded traffic, rank on no keywords, okay, that's again a bad signal that shows actually this website don't bring any value, don't worth anything. Not only they will need to rebuild it, but also they will most likely discount the multiple where they will buy the business. It can worth a good 1 point EBITDA, all the digital presence. If we know there are leads coming that will transfer with the new business owner, then you can value that and you give easily a point more. But if you don't have that, it just comes as a discount because you have to rebuild everything. And one action they could take today, so it really depends what they have right now, but how can they be more discoverable? How can they build some sort of funnel to book more meeting with them? Maybe creating some company account instead of always using their own personal account. There is a lot of different small action that could be taken today.
Yeah, taking a step back and making it about the business and not about themselves in terms of the marketing seems like the first step.
Yes.
Thank you, Muriel, so much for joining us. Tell us more about the book. So it's coming out soon.
Yes, so I just received my not for resale copy to check everything, but it won't have this line. This is the Valuation Gap. So it has 11 chapters. It has questions to evaluate your own situation after each chapter. And just I will read because it's the valuation gap, what buyers see that seller miss, but it's a step-by-step guide to evaluating your business the way a buyer would, so you can fix what's capping your growth and build one worth keeping or selling. That's not just about exit planning, it's more about exit readiness. If that's ever happened to you, great, but if you love running your business, just make sure that it does not run you. Right. You're running your business, like it should not be the one leading you.
Perfect. We'll have the link to purchase the book in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. To our listeners, please follow and subscribe us anywhere that you are listening to this podcast or watching us, and we will see you on the next episode of Managed Chaos.
Outsourcing your US tech talent shouldn't be hard. With Pobble.io, we deliver high-quality teams on demand and provide huge cost savings to your business. Try it now at Pobble.io. Mention the amazing guys at Managed Chaos when you email us and get a free market data report. Email contact@Pobble.io.